Okay. Somehow it's starting with 47 minutes as a recording. I don't know what is the problem now, but anyway, I would start now with the lecture. Good. Yeah, I am happy to present the final and last lecture on project management today with Ulrich Beul from Siemens. He is the senior quality manager, and that's why today we speak about quality management. My part today is to give a very short introduction, what is quality management, and then I will give you a brief overview about the history of quality management. And then I will lead over to Ulrich, who will speak about the quality management in the industry, especially in his part of industry. Uli, you can hear me?
I was muted. Now I can, yes, I can hear you all the time.
Thank you. Okay.
Hello to everyone. I will introduce myself later. Now it's Stephan's turn.
What is quality management? Quality management ensures that an organization, product or service is consistent. Usually it has four main components: quality planning, quality assurance, quality control, and quality improvement. Quality management is not only focused on product and service quality, but also on the means to achieve it. So even the process should have a certain quality level, and the quality management tries to ensure it. What's happened when quality management fails, you will see in this short video. It is from the US Air Force, from Afghanistan, and everybody can think what's happened there. So. What I wanted to show you is that if you think on quality management, you think usually on products or on other services. But also in the daily life, quality management is very important. What happened here? The air crew and the loading crew didn't secure the loading in this cargo plane. And during the takeoff, the whole cargo changed the location and disbalanced the plane. Why? Because the processes for loading and securing the loading was not obeyed, and people just wanted to do the job very fast. The outcome of this was that the crew out of 7 people were killed, and because the pilot was experienced enough, he could steer the plane into an open field, and nobody on the earth were killed too. So quality management you will find in each industry sector, in services, in production, and in management. And quality management, like I wanted to say, can save lives. where all the stuff, where all quality management started. Almost 3,500 years ago in Egypt. The pyramids. The stones for the pyramids were so precise that even not today, a knife blade can get between the stones. Even nowadays, it is not sure how they managed to make such precise stones. Next part was in China, 3,000 years ago. Their governmental departments were created and given responsibility to control quality standards of local goods. So to say, the first inspectors were made in China. Then we go on to the 500 to 1500 in Europe after Christ. Craft guilds were created, and these craft guilds ensured a certain quality through education. Every guy in the craft guild started as apprentices. Then, after several years of education, he became a journeyman to become, last but not least, a master. And not everybody could get or could work in a sector where he wanted. This was the first highly regulated sectors or productions, and this craft guilds, through the education, ensured that the products they made were on a relatively high quality. Go on. In 1760 to 1840, the first industrial revolution. And the first quality milestone in this industrial revolution was a French gunsmith who developed a system of manufacturing muskets, these rifles for the army, with standard patterns. So he ensured that all rifles he produced had more or less the same quality. Then, about 150 years later, Mr. Taylor introduced the scientific management. And here we had partition between managers, engineers, and supervisors and workers, and quality assurance. The managers had the task of planning, the workers the task of execution, and then management under Taylor meant that there also were inspectors who ensured that the products produced by the workers were on the correct quality. 7 years later, the DIN organization in Germany was founded. DIN organization is an organization for quality assurance. Why this organization was created? Because the German army needed standardized high quality products for the First World War. And because there were so many different producers with different quality standards, often the production was laid down or the equipment produced for the army was on poor quality, what meant on the battlefield a lot of problems. Then after the Second World War, Japanese engineers introduced the Kaizen management. And that meant quality was ensured through continuous improvements. And this involved not only the managers. No, it meant that even the assembly line workers could introduce new ideas into the production. And this had the outcome that over the years, Japanese production and Japanese products reached a quality level far beyond US and European products. In the 80s, Motorola created the Six Sigma model, what means every step in quality assurance, and I think Uli will speak about it a little bit later, has to follow the following procedure: define, measure, analyze, improve, and control. And this led on today's ISO, the International Standardization Organization, ISO 9000 family, quality management. A guideline, this ISO 9000 family, quality management, is a guideline for good production and good management. And I think Uli can now speak about this a little bit more into detail. What does it mean in reality? Uli?
Thank you, Stefan. I try to share my slides on my own.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe you want, do you have any questions up to now to Stefan before I take over? This is not the case, okay. So I now start to tell you some things about quality management in industry. I understood that you all have more the IT background. Now I will tell you something about how things are going on in producing industry in Germany. So first of all, that's me. I'm working for Siemens Energy. It's now a part of the company that becomes a known carved off company called Siemens Energy. We are producing everything you need for a power plant. So turbines, steam turbines, gas turbines, generators and stuff. Just a quick overview, what I've done up to now. After my studies, I joined Siemens. And as some colleagues of mine say, in my first years, I did real work. So I was development engineer in turbine blading, research and development. It was a very thrilling time. After that, I was punished with the task to use my own developments as a design engineer and later project lead for turbine blading, which was a very international job, which I liked. Then I joined quality management first. The first step was quality management for one product of our company, which are the steam turbines. This was not only quality management, it was also process improvement and I had a big overview about all these methods, which you don't need only for quality management, but also for improving your company and your processes, which in fact goes hand in hand. And then after some reorganizations, I joined the global quality and risk management, which covers all products we build. And this is my job till today. So what I want to tell you about today is the first thing, what is product development in technology in brief. So you have a base to understand what I'm talking about later. Then I would tell you something about influence on quality. Then I give you a short overview about different quality measures. And in the end, I think the main part we can discuss about commitment and quality culture in a company. So I start with the product development in technology. There are different phases. I just want to present them now to you. So of course, if you plan to develop and build a product, for example, a steam turbine or washing machine, first of all, you need a product definition, which also covers negotiation with the customer, clarification with the customer, what does he really want? Customer can mean either external customer or internal customer, for example, people who want management, who wants to have a special strategic product. Then the next step is the basic design. You start to design the product, but it has a lot of flexibility still, so you can do easily some changes, which you can't do in the next step, which is the detailed design. The finish of the detailed design is the the designed product, which you can give to manufacturing, which is the next part. Then you manufacture the product. Again, I'm talking about producing industry. And the last thing is, of course, a washing machine won't have this, but if you build a turbine for a power plant, then the last important step is the installation at the customer site. So, of course, for example, Siemens will go out into a power plant of a customer and install the turbines there. And then what you also have to do with bigger and more complex products where you offer a service is the product monitoring. The first thing is the customer needs your help for certain issues, and the second is that you also want to know about how your product behaves in practical life. So I will come back to this later. First, I would like to talk to you about my second point. That's the influence of quality. I don't know who already saw this very famous picture. It exists in several variants. So I hope you can see my my cursor here. It's all about what is your influence on quality in the different phases of this process. And it shows very well that if you are in the beginning, here the concept phase on the left lower corner, you're still in definition of the product. So if you discover a mistake, it will cost you nearly nothing. You just change the concept and maybe change some sentences in your concept, and then you are done. But if you go more to the right on this graph, basic design, detailed design, especially manufacturing, then of course it's not that easy to, if you find a mistake, to change it and to fix it. Because then, if you are talking about a turbine, then it's really a mistake which is made of steel. And so you have to build a new part, for example, which is very costly. And those numbers you see here with the euros, you can easily multiply them with 1,000 for the turbine business, or with 1,500, with 5,000. Sorry. These numbers are relatively low. This would apply if you do some mass production in smaller things, for example. The main message I want to give you in this slide is on the top of the graph. It says about correction phase. It says about correction phase and prevention phase. And what we easily can understand here is that prevention of a failure is essential for every producing, and I think also for IT industry. All right, with this message in your minds, I made some nice things here. Okay, I forgot that I have them. But here again, you see prevention is the key to everything. How can we do this prevention? I think you know this process I showed you before. And those nice little colored dots and squares and letters are all quality measures. If you do an agile process, I don't know, you should know about agile, then you have this cloud of uncertainty in the design process. Then of course you see these blue dots, you have a lot of smaller ones after every sprint or in every phase, subphase of the development. Now I showed you the symbols. Finally, I would like to explain the symbols to you. So the blue dot, which there were some of them in the process, are the so-called reviews. Then we have FMEAs, we have debriefings, and we have risk assessment. Those are, let's say, the main quality measures you can use for prevention in a product development process. Of course, there are some more, but I think this is the main part which makes you understand how we do quality management. Now I would like to show you, to explain you the 4 measures. So the first thing is a review, or you can call it design review. What is it? The review is a milestone within a product development process. So milestone means you do this review. If you pass it, you can continue. If not, you have to go back and rework. The goal, the target of it is that you gather some experts. So not the people who were working on this project or product, but experts of your company who are very experienced. You gather them and you let them have a look on the result or the pre-result you have at this moment of time in your project. So they will ask you some questions. They will think about their experience, and they know things that you as a design engineer, for example, don't know. So they help you to ask the right questions to your product. This makes you able to find potential mistakes in your way of thinking, in your development, in your product, or in your drawings, calculations, whatever. Of course, they will identify issues that you have to solve. Then the project has to solve them, and if they are all done, then the project gets green light, the milestone can be passed, and they continue with the process. That's a review. The reviews will be done, switch back, at different parts of the process. So usually at the end of one phase, but also in between. This is also very important if you, for example, plan to purchase some bigger parts you need for your product. Then before you should pass a review that you're sure that you purchase the right thing. All right. Now we come to a more fancy method. That's FMEA. I always have to read what it means. So it's a failure mode and effect analysis. Of course, every one of you knows what it is. No? Okay, I will explain you. First, this thing is done to find potential defects and their causes in a product system or process. So it can do it also for whole processes or systems, not only for products. And in brief, it's gathering the same experts or different experts, people with a lot of knowledge, and you discuss the potential mistakes your product can have in future when it is used. So one very famous example for this, Stephan, I'm sorry that I don't bring the video now, is a space shuttle or a rocket. There was in the mid of the 80s. There was a start of the, what was it? I think Enterprise was his name. And there was a big explosion when this space shuttle should go into space. I don't know, not moon, but some travel around the planet. And it gave a big explosion when this rocket started. This was an initial, this made people of American NASA think about, could we have foreseen this mistake or not? And of course, after that, when you know what it was, the meta-analysis, they found out what it was. It was an issue with the tanks and the tank system. When you know what the mistake was, of course, you always say, I could have known this before. And this, I could have known this before, led to this method FMEA. So people try to find such mistakes. This is especially very important if it is, as it was in this rocket, because people were sitting in the space shuttle, if lives depend on it. So to make it short, people sit together and think about what could go wrong with my product, with my system, with my process. These are very long workshops, and it's very complicated, but I think it's a very good method and it's needed, so you don't run into every mistake that you could run into. So better is to know it before. The opposite, let's say, now we don't look into the future, now we look back, is the debriefing. Debriefing is a word, you can use it in different things, but here it is meant you have developed a product, you have built a product, the customer has used the product, and now you look back and think about what was good or what was bad in this development. The goal is to create input for future projects. So when you did a mistake or made something more costly as it should be in your past product, why doing this again in the next project? So here is the point that you think about it and try to improve your future projects by looking at the past mistakes. This is, some people don't understand that this is a very important point, because you can imagine when you are finished with your project, you say, hey, you make a party, you are happy, and then you are facing your next project because your boss wants to. And looking back again, and then also discussing mistakes, not everyone likes it. But my big advice is do it, because why doing, it's not very bright to do a mistake from the past again in the future project. Of course, this method is defined as very neutral and scientific. So finger pointing like, Stephan, what did you wrong? This is not the part of this debriefing. You just talk about the facts. There are some questions that I wrote down into the slide. So it is, you ask questions like, what were we trying to accomplish? Where did we hit or miss our objectives? Of course, you can also talk about things which were very good or better than you expected. What caused our results? And what should we start, stop, or continue doing? That's debriefing. And now, a point where actual in our days, people have a very big focus on is risk management, risk assessment. Of course, everything you do live at itself it contains a lot of risks. When you develop a project and you build a project, install a project, you would like to know about the risks. So again, a little bit similar to the FMEA, where you think about technology or process, you sit together and think about the potential risks you have. The biggest difference here is that you are not only talking about technology risks, you are talking also about business risks. So of course you want to earn money with your product, or safety risks, which is also regulated by law. So of course your product shouldn't bring someone in danger when you install it and use it. Here you have a certain system. You think about what can happen, and then you try to classify this issue. So you think about first what could be the cause of it, what could be the consequences, and then you evaluate it. You say you try to create a number, how big the possibility is. So let's say this thing could happen in 50% of all cases, and you evaluate the consequences. So how big could the failure be in euro? Of course, if you're talking about lives, then it's not nice to talk about euros, but in every other, for example, a car breaks down, then you have to think about what could it mean to my company if 5,000 of my products start to burn, for example. And then you multiply it, and then you can think about what money do I need to eliminate this risk. So finally, what you do is to evaluate this risk you found out before, and think about, is it worth to fight it or not? Or is it maybe so impossible that it like 0.001% possibility that I don't have to care about it? On the other hand, also very impossible risks but with a big consequence, like millions of euros, are worth to look at. Yeah, again, as I said, you ask your experts, also the project members, sit together and do this. All these methods I introduced to you should be facilitated by an expert from quality management, because of course the people who are involved they could, but they shouldn't know about this methods to care about the methods, let's say. Of course, it's good they know, but they should concentrate on the content. So that's, for example, my job to facilitate these methods. Yeah, so you do this to do prevention of failures, so that you don't run into this in this curve as I showed you to the right upper point where it becomes very expensive. Okay, now I will try to show you a short video and then discuss it. It's about commitment and quality culture. I hope it starts now. Sometimes it starts, sometimes not. It's poor quality now. Oh, no, okay. At least it loads. So I think you can't hear the fancy music, but it's not important. So it's just some music behind it. It's about what can you do as future manager or later as manager to bring quality into the mind of your employees. I don't talk now, so I don't interrupt you with watching it. That was a fancy video. You see how families work for this company. I will question it a little bit, but you also see it's all about leadership. My summary to you is quality measures are important, but the key to good quality are committed and motivated employees. You can have all rules of the world, but the best is if your employee wants to produce quality and is committed to it. That's the key to it. And that is what we call quality culture. Thank you very much. Now, please ask your questions.
Could you close the presentation that we can see your face, Uli?
Yes. You need more quality. Okay, I see. Okay.
So up to now, I don't see any questions. If nobody has a question, I would have one question for you.
I hope I was not too fast, but maybe you can review the video after that. I know it was quite a lot of input.
Yeah, one question would be, what makes Siemens quality management special? Why you are the best in quality management?
Because we are all so committed to quality. Sounds a little like a joke, but in fact, it is. In our company, I don't want to say that other big companies don't have it. I don't know, because I'm working only for this company. But as in the video, if you have management which emphasize quality and also lives quality, means not talking about quality and making the people, letting the people do it, but also I, as a manager myself, I show that quality is important to me. I think this is a key factor. Again, the quality culture.
Okay. Here's one question to you, Uli. It's, why have you decided to become a quality manager? What triggered you?
It's a interesting question, because it was quite a break in my professional life. Because before I was project manager in for big customer projects, with some fancy trips around the world, and I liked it very much. I had a good team, or good teams. But then our company, part of company, decided to set up the quality, or part of the quality branch new, and they needed people who are able to facilitate and also to, let's say, to work with people. And I don't know why they asked me, but they asked me, and I really liked it, because I also like to build up new methods, new parts of a company, new groups, and that's actually what I did. And it was a lot of fun, because a lot of these things I showed you before, the quality measure, we set up new in this time, and it worked quite well. So that was a very good decision to join the quality management. And again, quality, a lot of people think quality is only to check if a part has the right size. That's wrong. 99.9% of the job is to think about prevention and to think about making processes better. So it's also a big part improvement in it.
Okay. There's another interesting question from Marina. Do you agree, Uli, that ISO certificate do not mean good quality and just mean that the quality is stable?
Yeah, ISO certificate means that you pass an audit, and I think you're on the first thought, I would say yes, you are right, because of course it means that the quality, that the processes are stable. But on the other hand, if you have, so as ISO certificate tells you that in my ISO training, they told me, what is quality? Quality is just leading that a company works well. So of course the processes work well, and that's what you have black on white, white on black, black on white when you have a certificate. Of course, it could also happen in theory that if you have very good processes, people are committed to processes, that they also do some crap. Yes. So yes, you are right.
Okay.
But I think the possibility is very low.
So Marina replied, bad quality can also.
Yeah, Yes, but only if you do bad quality on purpose, right? Because if you have good processes and if you lift them, if you do them the right way, then the possibility that you deliver good quality is quite high. And an auditor shouldn't certificate you bad processes which you apply to. That's not the idea behind it.
Okay.
But in the end, yes, you're right.
Dimitri is asking, what does inspire you in doing your job?
2 points. The first is that, as I said before I was a development engineer and project lead, and when I joined quality management, I could have I started to have a big overview about the whole company, especially now when I'm in quality and global quality management. So I like to see what happens, you know, not only do the same all the time, but to be in all processes, let's say. And what inspires me, in fact, is that I have the possibility to improve things, and things which the other people don't see. Because when you are a design engineer, when you are inside a project, then you think about your project. You are very focused on your project. But you can call it a little bit like a consultant role, because then I join this project, I coach them, I help them with quality measures, and of course I see things that they don't see, and then I can help them and improve.
Marina just wrote that we just purchased a big quantity, I think, of Siemens turbines this year.
Very good.
Maybe yours.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I have some blades which I designed before in it, and I really like your word here. You wrote it like quality. It's like a perfect mix of quality and quantity. So I hope they are of good quality.
Okay. Maybe a question to Marina. Marina, I think you're not a student. Where are you from? When you said you purchased a big quantity of Siemens turbines.
Maybe you need some more.
No.
Okay, maybe we don't discuss this.
People of Belarus. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, people of Belarus.
Maybe the last question from my side. Siemens is a global company with global clients. Do you work with your international or with your international Siemens colleagues together? And how you ensure, if you, for example, are working with Siemens India or Siemens China together, that the quality is stable and good?
Of course, I trust in my colleagues because they are all very good. I'm not dealing with this. You know, Siemens has a special organization. I don't work with Siemens India, but I have some colleagues there, you know, which are working for my part of the company. So it's a little bit complicated. Before, in my job as in development and as a project lead, I had some more international connections, also with business in those countries, in different countries. But now I'm part of a global team. So yes, I have a lot of international colleagues, but it doesn't connect with businesses in different countries. It's more like the general business and the general development, quality management. But of course, if you know, it's like a chain. If someone is doing a bad job, then the whole chain is bad. So I know everyone is doing a good job, and I can trust them.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ulrich.
Thank you. Thank you for your attendance and your interest in it. And now I'm very keen on seeing the video after that.
Thank you very much, Ulrich.
Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay. So
Well, thank you.